I welcome you all to this wonderful lesson. This is a nice lesson and it's a continuation from where we ended in our previous lesson. We are going to look at what we get to call the kidneys. So you need to understand that these kidneys are just a pair, of what? A pair of bean-shaped organs. A pair of bean-shaped organs. This is what you have to understand. Where do we find them? They are found where? They are found in the what? They are found in the lower abdomen. So they get to be found in the lower what? Lower abdomen. This is what you have to understand. This is an interesting topic in that we are going to look at some major things together in relation to the kidney. So the kidney, this is an excretory organ. So you have to understand that the kidney is part of the what? Systems that are found in the body. So I'm here to tell you that this one are what? Are a part. These are a part of what? A part of a system found in the body. And this particular system is called what? We get to call it the excretory system. We call it the what? We call it the excretory system. In my previous lesson, I told you what excretion is. I told you to say excretion is the removal of the waste product of what? Metabolism, or those waste products that get to come from the metabolics. I told you that. And I also told you about the excretory organs. I talked about those things. I guess you know them and you are able to answer questions that get to come in those ways. So now, this excretory system can also be called as the what? Urinary system. So we can also call it as what? The urinary system. Or we can also call it as what? Renal system. It is as one and the same. We can also call it as the what? Renal system. So we can call it excretory system. We can call it urinary system. We can also call it as what? Renal system. This is something important that I want you people to know. Something important that I want you to understand. Even as I teach you this particular topic, I want your total attention. Before we go any further, we need first to look at what we get to call the structure. We need to look at the what? We need to look at the structure of the what? The structure of a urinary system, or the excretory system, or the renal system. So I'll say the structure of the what? Urinary system. We look at this particular structure, and we must be able to label it. So even as I give you this structure, I guess you are able to follow me clearly and you are able to see. If you are not good at drawing, you just need to pay attention to this. I'm going to share some diagrams. So you can just leave how many lines? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can just leave 9 lines. But I want your ears, I want your attention. So you just these are the kidneys. These are the kidneys. They are like this. There are 2 of them. So these are the what? These are the kidneys. This is how these kidneys are. And you need to get that we've got this thing. It is a tube that gets to come like that. This is a tube. We also have another tube here. We've got these tubes like that. So this is how they get to come. We've got these 2 tubes. So you need to understand that this one, it goes there like that. It goes there. Even this one goes there like that. This one gets to go there like that. So it goes there. So let me do this. It goes there. We'll do this. It goes there. Then also this one, I will say, okay, since this one it is, let me put this one here. It is going this one like this. Let me open it this one a bit. So I've got this one that is going there like that. This is how they are. So this is just an example to help you understand what I'm talking about. So you just have to understand all these parts. So those of you that are sharp at drawing, you are supposed to draw this. This is the structure of the urinary system. So it is like this. These ones are what we get to call the kidneys. These are the what? These are the kidneys. So if you don't know, okay, this is a kidney. This is how a kidney is. We've got these two tubes. The same way they are like this. We've got these tubes that carry blood away from the what? From the kidneys. These ones are what we get to call the what? The vena cava. These ones are called the what? The vena cava. So vena cava is carrying blood to the what? To the heart. And this one that is carrying blood from the heart, it is called the what? It is called the aorta. The good part with this particular topic, more especially those of you that have been with me, I've taught you this. So I don't expect anyone to fail such questions that do come in an exam. If I tell you, tell me the function of the aorta, what kind of blood does it carry? Is it oxygenated or deoxygenated blood? You are supposed to tell me all that. So you need to understand that aorta gets to carry oxygenated blood, while the vena cava, this one, it is taking blood to the heart before oxygenation. So meaning it is carrying what? Deoxygenated blood. That is what you have to understand. Then we've got these ones. Have you seen we've got these ones. We've got a vein and an artery inside these kidneys. So you are going to discover that these ones that get to transmit blood, let me say, to the what? To the aorta. Have you seen? From the kidney to the aorta. Even these ones that are here, these ones that are taking blood, have you seen that direction? So these ones, this one, have you seen? If that tube is going there, it enters this tube and start going that side. Have you seen? It will be going that other side that is there. So it will pass through like this. This is how it will pass through, goes there. So these tubes that will carry now blood to the aorta, these tubes are, there is a specific name that we get to call them. So these tubes, this one that is carrying blood to the aorta is called the what? Renal vein. So we are calling it the what? We are calling it the renal vein. And this one, have you seen? This one now, there is the, let me say this one. I've got I think I've made a mistake somewhere. So this part, let me do this. This part, so this one, it is, have you seen? Carrying blood from the heart entering through. So this one, blood is doing what? Blood is entering. So the blood that is entering, this one, the blood is entering. Have you seen that? It comes like this. So here blood is entering. So put the arrow like that. Blood is doing what? Blood is entering. Since blood is entering, we get to call that as the what? I'm calling that as the renal artery. So it is called a renal artery. So these are what? Renal artery. So I'll say renal artery. The renal artery, what it does is that this one, it just carry blood away from the aorta to the kidney. So from the aorta to this tube here, this is called the aorta. So this pipe that is making a bridge here from the aorta to these kidneys, this is what we are calling the what? The renal artery. But these ones that are taking, so these ones, blood is entering. This tube, even here, blood is doing what? Is entering. But here blood is going, so even this one, blood is going that way. Even here, this one, blood is what? Blood is going. This one, blood is going that. In that tube, have you seen? So it is going. This part, this one that is here, the name that is given to this part, we get to call it the what? The renal vein. So the name that is given here, it is called the what? It is called the renal vein. I don't know if you are getting the point. When blood is entering, it is entering this via the what? The aorta. This tube, it is taking blood to the kidneys. So from the aorta to the kidneys, This one that gets to transmit or transport blood from the aorta to the kidney, it is called a renal artery. And this one that gets to transmit or transport blood from the kidney to the vena cava, it is called the what? The renal vein. So these are two important things that I want you to understand. So before we go any further, you discover that from here, these tubes are going. There are those parts that get to come like this. Have you seen these ones that will form like this? So it is going to form something like this. They are going to form a thing that will look like this. So it is going to form something that will be like this. Something that will be like this. Have you seen? You are going to have something like this. This thing that is here, I don't know if you are able to see it. This thing that is here, this is now what I get to call the what? Urinary bladder. So this is called the what? This is called the urinary bladder. This is the name given to it. This is the urinary bladder now. Then have you seen from the kidney now to the urinary bladder now, there is this part, the tube that gets to transport the urine now. This is called the what? This is called the ureter. We get to call it the what? We get to call it the ureter. From the ureter now, down this urinary bladder, we've got these muscles that are down here. This particular muscle that is just at the end of the urinary bladder, we get to call it the what? We get to call it the urethral sphincter. So it is urethral sphincter, something urethral sphincter like this. Sphincter what? Muscle. That is a muscle. So urethral sphincter muscle. This part now, you discover that this one now gets to work as the opening and closing. It gets to open and close. This is now the part that is in charge of the urine coming out and being stopped. So when you see a baby now that gets to wee on the bed, it means that these urethral sphincter muscles are very weak to the point that they cannot open and close like that. You've seen. So these are the ones that get to be affected. So I guess you are able to understand. Now, down this now, we've got down this now, down the urethral sphincter, we've got now this one, this tube that is called the what? Urethral tube. This is called the urethral tube. This is where urine gets to pass through, and in males, this is also the passage of sperms. So I want you to understand this, and I want you to get this. I don't know if you are able to understand this. I know most of you are able to see this. You are able to get what I'm teaching you here, but you maybe some of you have not written any note. So let me just try to break down this so that you may also try to have certain notes. So I want you to understand this, and I want you to get what I'm teaching. Let us now move to the notes. Just to explain what I was, I guess you've taken note of all these parts. So those of you that are slow at drawing, I'm going to share a diagram that you are going to draw. So just leave 8 spaces. The good thing is that you are able to hear me, and you are now going to continue from the notes where I'm going to start from. Like I always tell you, I don't just teach, but I teach as well as giving notes. So even as I'm teaching, I'm giving you what? I'm giving you notes. I'm teaching whilst giving you notes. This is how I get to teach. I won't even end here because I know we differ in terms of IQ. Some of you have gotten the function of the aorta there. But some people, if I ask you, you will just remember, the sir said this is. So to avoid that, this is the reason why I give notes. Even as I'm teaching like this, you are even able to write down these notes and study them at your own free time. So let us look at these structures, these structures that I've given you. So let me wrap this part. I guess you've drawn this, and we are able we are able to see them. Okay, this one is like this one is like this. So the first one that I'm going to start with is called the what? It is called the aorta. This is the first one that I'm going to start with. It is called the what? It is called the aorta. What is now the function of the aorta? So after that diagram, those of you that are drawing, if you are not drawing, leave those 8 lines and continue from here. So what is the function of the aorta? I looked at the heart where I told you to say that the aorta gets to carry the oxygenated blood away from the heart to all parts of the body. But in this case, in terms when we go to the kidneys now, what is happening is that this one gets to do what? This one gets to carry. So I will say that it carries what? I'm going to say that it carries oxygenated blood. It is going to carry the oxygenated what? Oxygenated blood away from the what? Away from the heart. So I'll say away from the what? Away from the heart to parts of the body. To parts of the what? Parts of the body, which gets to include the what? The kidneys, because the kidneys are also part of the body. This is what you need to understand. This is the function of the aorta. I also looked at the vena cava. You also need to understand the what? The vena cava. What is the function of the vena cava? So what we are supposed to get and understand is that this vena cava that is here, I told you that the vena cava, this one gets to carry what we get to call the what? The deoxygenated blood. It is going to carry the deoxygenated blood. So when it carries the deoxygenated blood, it is carrying this deoxygenated blood from the body parts to the heart. So it is carrying what? This one, it carries, you say it carries what? It carries deoxygenated blood. It is going to carry the what? Deoxygenated what? Deoxygenated blood towards the heart. Towards the what? Towards the heart. This is what you have to understand. So the blood enters the heart through the vena cava, and it will go to the lungs for oxygenated. When it comes back, it is now going to leave the heart through the aorta, where it goes now to the parts of the body now. I guess you understand that mechanism that gets to happen there. I guess this is something that you know. Then we proceed now and look at another thing that is called the renal vein. I guess you saw where the renal vein was. The renal vein now, this one, it is now doing what? It carries the deoxygenated blood away from the kidney to the vena cava. Have you seen? Away from the what? Kidney to the vena cava. So this one we are saying that it does what? It carries. So it is going to do what? It is going to carry. So it carries deoxygenated blood. It is going to carry the what? It is going to carry the deoxygenated blood away from the what? Away from the what? Away from the kidney. Away from the what? Away from the kidney to the what? To the vena cava. Hope you've seen the difference. To the what? Vena cava now. It is now the vena cava that is now going to carry this deoxygenated blood now to the heart. It is also true to this other one we are calling the what? Renal artery. It is also true. These ones I've already told you, but the reason why I'm also writing down is, you know how I teach. I don't want to just pass, because I know that some of you will not, by the end of the day, you won't get anything, but these notes will help you even to understand what I'm teaching. So I'm just repeating what I was explaining. You are gaining double information. If such questions are to come in an exam, you are not even supposed to fail anything. So when you go to the renal artery, you are going to discover that these ones carry blood away from the what? Away from the, I will say, away from the what? Away from the aorta. Away from the aorta to the what? To the parts that we are calling the what? the kidneys. So I will say to the what? I will say to the kidneys. So I will say to the kidney. So I guess you are able to see the difference. The aorta is carrying blood from the what? From the heart to parts of the body. The vena cava is carrying deoxygenated blood towards the heart. So from all parts of the body to the heart. But these ones, it is deoxygenated blood away from the kidney. So kidney to vena cava, that is called the renal vein. I don't want you to be making mistakes. From the aorta to the what? To the kidney, it is called the renal artery. Get this clearly. I don't want you to be making mistakes or to be misunderstanding these things. I think I'm confused here. I want you to know these things, and I want you to be able to answer such questions that will come in an exam. I also talked about the ureter. So this ureter, this is just I would say a tube that gets to transport. So this one just gets to do what? It just gets to transport the urine. Transports what? Transports urine from the kidney. From the what? From the kidney. So from the kidneys, it will transport the urine from the what? From the kidney. Then I looked at the bladder. Bladder, this one you are going to write it. Bladder, this is just the temporal storage of urine. So when we are talking about the bladder, it's okay. Let me write it. I said I teach what is given out, so I don't want. So we've got the urinary bladder. So this one is the what? This is just the storage. So let me say it is the what? It is the temporal storage. So we get to say that this is the what? Temporal storage. So let's say this is the what? This is the temporal. So it is the what? It is the temporal. Temporal what? Temporal storage of urine. Temporal storage of what? Temporal storage of urine. That is the urinary bladder. So you need to be writing in for not just bladder. You need to specify. That is the what? Urinary what? Bladder. We also looked at some parts where I said the urethra sphincter. I told you that the urethra sphincter, this is just a ring of muscle that are found at the exit of the urinary bladder. And these ones, they get to control the flow of urine. I guess you can't forget this one. We've got let me write. So I guess this is making sense, and you are able to understand everything that I'm explaining in this particular lesson. I'm talking about something that is called the what? Urethra sphincter. So urethra sphincter, this part. So this urethra sphincter, I told you that it is just a ring of muscles. A ring of muscle that is found at the end of the urinary bladder. So they are in charge of what? They control. So I'm going to say that they do what? They get to control the flow. They control the what? They control the flow of what? The flow of urine. This is the function that they get to play. So they get to control the flow of what? The flow of urine. So the urine now that gets to pass through, I've given you an example that in babies, you discover that those babies are able to wee on the bed because of these urethra sphincter muscles, which are very weak. So these urethra sphincter muscles are very weak to the point that in a baby, when a baby is sleeping, the brain, I guess you are able to understand that everything that gets to happen in your body gets to happen via the coordination of the venous, let me say, some systems that gets to happen, whereby if you want to speak, the information should first react, goes to your mind, then if I say, how are you? So that information, we've got some sense organs, your ears will get that information, transmit it to the central nervous system. The central nervous system takes the information to the brain for interpretation. That's when you're going to respond and say, I'm fine, how are you? So this thing just gets to happen in milliseconds. The moment the person just telling you, how are you? The information has already gone to the person and you are able to respond. I'm fine, good, how are you? So that is how information gets to do it, gets to move. So these are certain things. This is certain information that I want you to know, certain information that you are supposed to understand. Then we also looked at the urethra. I also talked about the urethra. I said you have to understand the urethra, where I told you that this is just a passage. It is a passage of what? This is just the passage of urine. So just a passage of what? Passage of urine. This is the passage of urine. In males, so I would say in what? In males, in us, it is also the passage of what? Sperms. So this is what you have to understand. So I guess we are able to get this, and this is audible enough. Then the last part is now getting to understand what the kidney gets to play itself. So the kidney, the one that we are talking about now, this kidney. So you discover that kidney is one of the excretory organs, in that it gets to excrete some products. And these are excretory products that we can talk of. So I will say the kidney removes what? It removes urea. It gets to remove excess. I will say excess what? I will say excess salt. I will say excess what? Excess water. I will say excess salt. Excess what? Excess water. Excess water. Aside excess water, I will just say I think these ones are enough. So excess water, excess salt, urea. I guess these are the ones from the what? From the blood, and forms urine. So it removes 1, 2, these ones from where? From the blood. So from the what? From the blood. I'll say from the blood, and forms, and it does what? And it forms urine. This is what gets to happen. The key thing is understanding what I'm teaching. If you're able to understand what I'm teaching, then everything will be simple. You'll be able to understand this. This is not something that you should even be worried about. The key thing is understanding what I'm teaching you. Let us now look at the structure of a kidney. Maybe you don't know how a kidney looks like. So a structure, I'll say structure of a what? Structure of a kidney. Let us look at a structure of a kidney. Same applies here. If you know that you are slow in drawing, I'm going to share these parts. So what I just want from you, just leave some lines. This one you can leave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can leave about 7 lines. So leave about 7 lines, but I want your ears now. I want your attention. So I want your attention. So from here now, what I want us to do is something like this. I'm not good at drawing also. I'm not good at drawing, but I make sure that I try. I make sure that I do what? I make sure that I try. It is like this. So this is how it is. This is what we get to call the what? The ureter. This is called the ureter. Then you've got something that is like this. This is how it is, something like this. So we've got these ones that gets to be like this. So these ones that gets to be like this. Where we have to do this. This is, so this part that is here, this part is called the pelvis. We get to call this as the what? The pelvis. Then we've got this middle part. That is called what? Medulla. So it is called what? Medulla. Then we also have this outer part. This is called the what? The cortex. So this is just like a simple structure of a kidney. Something so simple. Though when it comes in an exam, people get to be confused. A lot of you get to be confused when such questions do come in an exam. But the major thing or the key thing that you have to get here is getting the concept and understanding what I'm teaching here. Once you are able to understand what I'm teaching, then these things get to be very simple. These are simple things. You can even agree with me. So these are simple things. I know you are able to work through them. You are able to go even in an exam with this particular information. And I want you to know that the basic function, so let me say that the basic function, let me say the basic what? The basic function, let me say the basic function of the what? Of the kidney. The best or the basic function of the kidney is the nephron. Is the what? I've repeated, is the what? Is the, you can repeat, you can read, okay, let me say, is the what? Nephron. So this is the basic function of the what? The kidney. Once you are able to explain this, then this is a very simple. Once you are just able to explain what we get to call the function of the nephron, how those processes get to happen. So that is where we are going. We are going to look at the structure of the nephron. So we are going to look at that particular structure. When we look at that structure, then some things will be very easy. So let's make sure that we are able to follow through, we are able to understand everything that I'm teaching here. The reason why I'm teaching you is so that you are able to understand. I'm labeling, explaining on this so that you are able to get the concept and you are able to apply this information in an exam. I gave you some list of topics that we need to cover, and I guess looking at this speed where we are moving at, we can even finish them before the end of this same month. We can finish them. So this is something that is not that difficult. This is something that is so easy. So we can finish those ones, and we will be able to go through them even in an exam. And the last thing that we are going to end with is the structure of the nephron. So we look at the structure of the what? Of a nephron. So let us look at the structure of a nephron. This is the last thing we are going to do. I know some of you are not good at drawing. You are like me. So what we are supposed to do, since you don't know how to draw, you are just like me. So I'm going to share some diagrams. You take your time at drawing them. So you are going to take your time at drawing them. So now this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, so structure. So you say structure. I say structure of a nephron. So structure of a nephron. So this structure that it is going to be here, let me share it in the group. You draw it. So in our next lesson, this is where we are going to start from. So this is where we are going to start from. This is where we end from. So you draw this structure of a nephron. You just draw it. I will be explaining and you are going to understand. So in my next lesson, I'm going to start with this. So make sure that you draw this structure of a nephron. You are supposed to draw it. So let's make sure we do what? We draw this particular structure. Thank you so much.